Hello, dear ones. Welcome to this episode of Cosmic Compass for the week beginning March 28th to the 4th of April. And obviously, things maintain their current level of dark intensity. However, there's some subtle but very important differences to the way these energies are lining up this week. The sun is in Aries, so we're very much in a fire zone, while we start the week with the moon in Leo. So we've got double fire happening to start with. However, the sun is perfectly conjunct Persephone, the goddess of the death and rebirth cycle. And in fact, the sun is aspecting all the four major archetypes around that cycle of death, rebirth, transformation, but are in good aspect to Pluto, to Hecate, and to the black moon. And what this means is that, the destructive agents are going to act out in the world, clearly, obviously. But in terms of our inner processes of transformation reflected by the same archetypes, we have opportunities to get in greater alignment with it, to understand these deep inner cycles and be able to get more proactive and be able to work with them. So it has quite a different flavor depending on your level of consciousness. Talking about levels of consciousness, Mercury, the planet of the mind, is still very slow in forward motion, but still very slow, and has been caught up by an exact alignment of Pluto and Medusa. So we have these two great power archetypes who are a form of masculine and feminine, cosmic and tantric combination connected to our minds. Now, that can be great if you've got a heightened level of consciousness and you can handle it. But what it does mean is that consciously we can connect more deeply with inner processes, and as well as open ourselves to more exalted forms of perspective and even transcendence and objectivity in terms of what's going on. But it's a tall order, and we can expect lots of oscillations in what's happening inside ourselves. Complicated by the fact that the black moon, the purificatory black moon, is still squaring the combination. So there's what one of my friends calls swamp monsters arising within us. As for Venus, Venus has been traveling through the realms of Chiron, the wounded healer, for the last 5 days. So if it's been a strong period in your relating, it's because there's a lot of healing on offer, but it will also bring up different levels of woundedness that gets in the way of our love. But she's releasing now and joining and forming a tough T-square with Juno, the traditional goddess of marriage, and with Parvati, the goddess of the sacred marriage. So here's Venus in Aries wanting lots of freedom, wanting to have a good time, and she's lining up in a hard way with the traditional goddess of marriage and with the demands, the evolutionary demands of the Shiva Shakti sacred marriage. So she's in a bit of a jam there, but she's being helped out by a fabulous sextile to the very, very luscious Hygeia, Kundalini goddess of healing, goddess of mystical eroticism, and a goddess that makes our healing processes that much fluid. So she's doing a lot of movement in the next couple of days before she then moves into Taurus. As for Mars, Mars and Pallas are exactly together at 20 degrees of Pisces. So that's a hot spot in all our charts. However, they're not aspecting anything else. So it's kind of like they're stepping out of time. And I imagine them workshopping ideas of which will be manifesting, particularly as Mars goes into Aries in the next few weeks. So there's an inner alchemy going on there. Finally, Saturn, who's at 4 degrees of Aries, 5 degrees of Aries, is sextiling Pluto. And this is a deeper calling that's saying, okay, we've got all this transformative energy available to us. time to get serious about it, time to get professional about it. What are you going to do with these capacities for deep change? How are you going to be able to learn how to direct this energy to produce both inner change, but also eventually great outer manifestation? Because after this week, we're going to go into a much more stronger period of manifestation. So go well with all of that. If you need support, there's always readings, there's always counseling sessions, there's therapy packages. If you want more information, go to our blog where I stretch all this out. And otherwise, take really good care of yourselves. Keep on the inner work. Keep up your practices. Lots of love and blessings. Till next week.